Hey everyone, this is Hurricane Hal with CNC Catastrophe and National Claims on site in Lake Charles, Louisiana with an update on Hurricane Laura. I want to provide three main points for you. Let's talk about the storm track. The track is really dialed in on the Louisiana-Texas border. It's normal for these track models to shift west and shift east, but it's really focused kind of on the Beaumont-Port Arthur over to Lake Charles and Sulphur metro areas. If you're in those areas, this is a really dire storm, an intense storm, and it looks like the track is really dialed in on those areas. We're expecting a landfall getting into later tonight, perhaps around midnight. Let's talk about the intensity, and this is what concerns me the most. As of the late morning advisory from the National Hurricane Center, the intensity is bumped up to 125 miles an hour presently. That's a solid Category 3 hurricane, and it's forecast to continue intensifying up to 145 miles an hour before landfall. That would be a solid Category 4 hurricane. Category 4 hurricanes create catastrophic damage, not only from trees falling, but also catastrophic damage to well-built buildings. This is a big concern, and these intensity forecasts can change quite a bit. We saw this in Hurricane Michael. It was a Category 2. The day before landfall, we were saying maybe it'll be a 3, and then it ended up a 4, and then in the reanalysis, it actually was a 5. These storms can intensify quite a bit before landfall. We're seeing rapid intensification, and that concerns me a lot. I would not want to be in Beaumont-Port Arthur, Orange, over through Lake Charles, Sulphur at all, even in a well-built home, whether there's a tree over it or not. We could really see catastrophic building failure from this storm, just from the winds, let alone the storm surge. Now, the storm surge forecast is forecast to get up to 15 to 20 feet. So someone asked me, how will this compare to Rita? Very similar track. Rita made landfall with minor category, I won't say minor, low-end Category 3 winds of 115 miles an hour. Laura is forecast to be considerably stronger at landfall, so we should expect to see more wind damage. The storm surge may be comparable because Laura was intensifying before landfall and Rita was weakening before landfall. Still, it's going to be a catastrophic surge near and to the east of landfall. And so I wanted to talk to you about three things. The track dialed in on the Texas-Louisiana border, the intensity really bumped up again. And lastly, I just wanted to kind of cover the regional landscape and talk about different locations and what they can expect. Let's go from west to east. Houston Metro. Big metro area. I feel good about central and western Houston Metro. I think there's very low risk right now. Getting into eastern Houston Metro, I feel a little more uneasy around Pasadena and Baytown. I think we could see tropical storm force winds, a lot of tree falls and power failures, really in eastern Houston Metro and all the way down the I-45 corridor. Getting into Galveston, I think we could also see tropical storm force winds for sure. A lot of trees down, power outages. It's something to be careful if you're in Galveston. I think we could see some minor wind damage from this. Probably not substantial structural damage, but more minor wind damage, some trees down and some power out. When we get into Bolivar Peninsula, I'm thinking minor to moderate wind damage, but really along the coast, even in Galveston, we're going to see tremendous waves. I think the water's going to run all the way up to the seawall, a lot of coastal erosion. Getting into Bolivar Peninsula, I think the water certainly will go across Highway 87 with big waves. It's going to be, if you're not in an elevated structure, it's going to be bad. So we're going to see a tremendous amount of coastal erosion and a lot of storm surge pushing in there. The latest I saw for Bolivar Peninsula is 6 to 9 feet of storm surge. So the higher, sturdier buildings that were built post-Ike, I think will do okay from surge. But again, that's on the fringe of the wind as well, makes me a little uneasy. Let's get over towards Nederland, Beaumont, Port Arthur, that whole area in there, Orange. You're really getting into the strong wind field there. I feel uncomfortable about people staying in houses. I would try to evacuate to the east or west. And then also, obviously getting over towards Lake Charles and Sulphur, catastrophic wind damage. We're not even going to talk about Cameron. If it survives from storm surge, the wind is going to be horrific. That whole area, no one should be down there by Holly Beach, Cameron area. Let's talk as well about the I-10 corridor and north, okay? Places like, say, Lumberton, Beaumont, you're out of the surge zone. In Rita, you had some wind damage. In Beaumont, check this out, Hurricane Rita and Beaumont, maximum sustained winds were around 70. I think you'll exceed it this time. So this will probably be worst wind damage than Rita was in the Beaumont area. And Laura is moving so fast that these strong winds are going to push well inland. So places like Lumberton, Deweyville, these places that you may think that you're inland far enough, I think even getting well north of I-10 in East Texas, I'm expecting tremendous amount of tree falls. I would not feel good about being in a house under a big tree anywhere really in East Texas within, say, 150 miles of the coast even. And that goes as well for Southwest Louisiana, well north of the I-10 corridor. The wind impacts are going to be tremendous and go far inland. I'm here on location in Lake Charles. I'm a professional hurricane scientist. I document the science behind it. I will be in a fortified concrete bunker that I think could take a Cat 5 with no problem. I will be very safe. I would not feel at all about being I would not feel safe at all about being in a house in the city tonight. I would leave whether there's a big tree over my house or not. I think I'll be in a safe place. I'll be documenting the science, which helps us understand the impacts better. But I'm by myself. I don't have my kids. I don't have pets with me, and I'll be in a fortified concrete bunker. So I will keep you updated. Just follow the CNC channels. We'll keep you updated frequently through this storm. I'll be doing live broadcasts all through the storm as long as I can, and be safe. And everyone, be safe. Take this storm very seriously. This is a big deal. This will be a catastrophic storm. Let's hope for the best. I'm hoping that some wind shear or dry air can work in there, maybe weaken the storm a little bit. But this is a big deal, catastrophic storm, and I'll keep you updated right here in Lake Charles, Louisiana.